Battletech, the military science fiction wargaming franchise, launched by FASA Corporation in 1984. FASA, Fredonian Aeronautics and Space Administration, developed by Jordan Weisman and L. Ross Babcock, former gamers at the United States Merchant Marine Academy in Kingsport, New York. The game is essentially combat between 12-meter tall humanoid armored combat units called Battletechs, or mechs for short. Each mech in the game is powered by a fusion reactor and fires various weapons, either energy or projectile-based attacks. And yes, I consider flamers energy attacks. The mechs either move by walking or can use jump jets to fly for certain distances, depending on the amount of jets and the weight of the mech. Other vehicles, such as tanks and armored personnel carriers, are included in the game, but are usually considered by me as targets. Welcome to Gaming with Fort Sumter. I'm Wade Phillips, gamer, historian, painter, modeler, and we're going to be looking at the Battletech box set, the Beginner Box, by Catalyst Games. I bought this for $20 at a Books A Million in Fort Myers. I have played the game before, way back in the late 80s. Game is pretty simple and really good visual. It's a good game to get introductory people into. So this set has two high quality, fully assembled, unpainted miniatures. It looks like they're plastic ones. An 18 by 22 full color game map, double-sided, die-cut mech terrain tokens, quick start rules, a universal booklet, 24-page fiction novella, which we won't be going over, record sheets, mech warrior cards, which are really handy because it shows the mechs and it shows places where you take damage. We used to have 8.5 by 11 sheet that we keep track of our mechs on, and 6 six-sided dice. Oh, I see that they have paper counters for the mechs, for a lot of the other mechs that they don't provide in this box. So we're going to open this up. And we may go, well, we will go over some of my mechs that I have painted previously that you will have seen in my teaser trailer. I painted all of those with almost all of them with the German Splinter camo for my mercenary unit. So here is the box. There is the little book on. The light on that camera is not necessarily good, or at least the way I have it. Yep. That goes away immediately. In here is a plastic packet of the mech cards. In this they provide a locus, which I have a cicada down here right now. I don't think I have any locuses myself. The figures that they provided, I'll show you in just a minute, and as I said, they are plastic. So they've given us a sheet for the locus. On one side is all the stats you'd need And then on the back is a little talk about the locusts, about how were they used, their capabilities, the armament. Of course, armament varies. In the standard game, you can choose what you, within reason, what you want on your mech, and of course it's going to show me a certain amount of weight that you can have. But here is, again, a different locust. That locust had a medium laser and 2 machine guns, which is kind of the standard light loadout. This one has medium, 2 medium lasers and 2 small lasers. Here we go with, next we have 2 Griffins, which are, if you play the Battletech Mech Warrior game, you almost always will start out with a Griffin. It's the, we'll call it medium mech. That one has a LRM, which is a long-range projectile gun, and a PPC, which is a long-range energy gun. So that's your standoff one. This is a GRF-1N. And here is a GRF-1S, which is got a LRM-5. Oh, that's long-range missiles, sorry, not the gun. And then 1 large laser and 2 medium lasers. I definitely, in most of the mechs that I run, which I'll show you, I have a bunch of catapults, which are chock-loaded with long-range missiles, because I like to stand off. I'm not into getting up close and personal. Here we have 2 Wolverines. This is a WVR-6R, which has got a medium laser, a SRM, which is a short-range missile, 6, and an AC-5. The AC-5 is the standoff projectile gun that I was thinking about. Kind of like a Gatling gun in some cases when you get to the larger AC-10 or AC-20. And here is the other Wolverine, which is 2 medium lasers, a large laser, and a SRM-6. And then last but not least are 2 Thunderbolts. Again, medium. These are 60. Technically they're heavy. This is a heavy. The others were 55s at medium. This is at 65 tons heavy. It's got a shoulder missile launcher on these for the Thunderbolt. This one has a 15 LRM, 2 SRM, which is small, 3 medium lasers, 2 machine guns, and a large laser. So definitely heavy on the weapons. These feel like they're plasticized so that you can take a China marker or something and mark on these, which is handy because we used to have to put ours in the sleeve and use a China marker, or just if you didn't mind making tons of copies, you could make an original copy and then pencil out your damage. This is a TDR-5SE, which has got a 10 long-range missile, 3 medium laser, and 1 large laser. So, nice gun on that one. No point in really looking at that camera with these because I think they get washed out. But, okay, with that said, our 2 figures are, this is, I believe, a Wolverine, close as we can to that camera, and hopefully it'll focus. Right. And that camera there can see it. And this is obviously a Thunderhawk. It's got the shoulder. No, yeah, that was a Wolverine. This could be a Griffin. And that camera is shut off because it's running out of power. Okay, now. Yeah, this is a Griffin. Again, plastic, but it looks really good, but as it should. I mean, I think I have some Griffins that we'll look at here in a minute. In here is also our cards for the pilots. Like in the game, MechWarrior computer game that I play, you have pilots, and your pilots have abilities based on their level in certain stats. In this case, they just happen to have abilities that cost points. A bunch of these cards here, where each is double-sided so that you can pick somebody on the other side instead of what you have in your hand. 2 die 6. Here is the counter of the figures with the little stand-up thingies. Will be and some terrain, light and heavy terrain. It's a wonderful advert from Iron Metals, which the figures that you'll be seeing that are mine that are painted were I bought on eBay, unpainted Iron Man. I got rid of all my original ones. It's a guide to the inner sphere. Shows a map of the Battletech world and the different houses that control them. That is the map. Really beautifully done. Nice paper map. That is a forest on that side and a desert on this one. So, cool. And here is the beginner box booklet. Quick start rules. 1, 2, 3, 4. 11 pages. Essentially, one of these is beyond the quick start rules, where you add piloting skills and additional terrain. This other one, really, victory conditions, if you want to use that. They have scenarios in here. Basically, defender, attacker scenarios. The most important thing is when you want to destroy a mech, you remove its head or center torso. Head basically means the pilot is incapacitated or killed, and center torso is where most of the power is for the mech. So Your mechs have a arc. This is based on hexes. This is one of my unpainted. It's an unpainted Shadowhawk, but you'll note that the figure is on a hex base, a 6-sided thing. So your front arc consists of the 3 hexes that the 3 hex faces that the figure is pointing towards. Let's look at real quick some of my figs that we glossed over before. Keep the rules out. We might go over those a little. I don't like my videos to run more than 15 minutes because of both my attention span and some of the guys I know. It doesn't last that long. Here I go out of camera for a second. This is my case of figures. Make sure the latch is on the right side. Move my other figs off to the side. Nope, I had it right the other way. In this case, I've basically taken foam, seat foam, and cut out pockets for my figures. Each of the pilots in the game get a nickname, usually. So this is one of my catapults, which is again, this thing fires nothing but long-range missiles. Kind of sit back, artillery support. This one's called Cretan, as in Cretan, as in the Cretan Archer. It is a CPLT C4. I have one of those in every one of my lances. Now in Battletech, Battletech, your 4 of your mechs make a lance, kind of like a platoon. So that's the other Cretan. Now this is a plastic one, whereas that one that I showed you originally is a metal one. I'll show you them side by side for scale, because let's face it, the plastic ones are going to be bigger. Now I've that one that it's not one that I printed, although I have printed some. So you can see that the plastic one is a little bit larger, a little chunkier. Oh, in fact, right up there is a plastic one that I printed right here. So it's the same, I think that's actually the same file, but this one is printed on PLA on my 3D printer. Haven't painted that one yet, but I will for for the artillery support, so same size. And then the other long-range support is, again, another catapult. This is a different manufacturer catapult than the other metal one. Painted this one with a desert. So one of my lances has a desert camouflage, and the other lance has got the forest camouflage. How you camouflage a 12-meter tall robot, well, it's neither here nor there. So this is, again, on the front of these I have the name of the pilot, and on the back I have the letter and number designation of what the makeup of the craft is. This is a Marauder 2W. I think I have several of these Marauders because, again, they've got a nice missile complement. Got a good heavy punch. That one I am missing the designation on the back. No big surprise. There is a plastic Wolverine that I've already painted. So essentially the same figure that we saw earlier, except for it's painted with my camouflage. And of course I named it Logan. This is a humpback, I think. Almost all of the mechs I use will have a missile battery associated with it because the heavy likes to hit them from long range. That is a griffin, metal griffin that I have painted. It's a good pose with that gun up close to him. Unfortunately, some slightly damaged, but okay. Well, that's some of my collection. A little bit about Battletech. Games can go really fast as long as people aren't thinking too hard about their moves and whatnot. Got plenty of room in here for the additional figures that I have yet unpainted. I was going to have one assault mech, which is the one above heavy, and then two heavy lances and I think a medium lance. I'm not overly enthused with the light. They're great against other lights and they're okay against mediums, but when you get into the heavies and assaults, they're just targets that don't last very long. This is one of those lights called a cicada. And it's got missiles and I think this one has machine guns on it. Nothing more than an irritation. There are some lights that will carry flamers, which can be decent against your heavies because, or at least against your mediums and heavies, because heat is a lot in this game. The weapons that you use generate heat, and vehicle can only take so much heat in a turn, and it will shut down if the heat goes to a certain point. And you'll also take damage. So, is the box worth $20? For me, yes, I think so. The maps look good. I've got two good-looking figures, the Griffin and the Wolverine out of it. And I've got the simple rules and a handy thing with the reference sheets on the vehicles. So, if you want to get into a game, especially a miniatures game, I would say that $20 is an absolutely fantastic deal to get into a miniatures game. And other than the two miniatures, they gave you the card that had all of the miniatures that you had cards for. So you had 2 Griffins, 2 Wolverines, 2 Thunderbolts, 2 Locusts, which were flat paper figure thingies. But those are certainly suitable. If I were going to paint these, you'd want to wash them first. You don't know whether there's any kind of a mold release on these or not. And then I prime mine with gray. I prime mine with a gray primer. And then because it will allow me to put some good, decent color on the figures. If you prime black, the figures will turn out way too dark. The color that you're painting them will be too dark. And I want it to be lighter so that then I can put weathering on them to make them look darker myself. If you would like to watch me play a game of Battletech, either here or the MechWarrior game online, please put a comment below. Remember to like, subscribe my videos if you are enjoying these, or even if you're mildly annoyed with my videos. I want to thank my loyal followers, and I hope to see you again in hopefully less than a month, but right now I'm on a monthly schedule for doing these videos because I've got real work and I've got a lot of games to play myself. Thank you. This has been Ray Phillips with the Fort Sumter miniatures, and I will see you next time.